Ron Van Dam, living proof that there is life after 40 for retired male strippers. Shake that thing, big dog, you still got it. You're listening to The Ron Van Dam Show on New England Broadcasting.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's The Ron Van Dam Show.
Thank you.
Hold on tight, things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing.
Welcome to the program. It is the Ron Van Dam Show. I am Ron Van Dam, and that's all we need in order to accomplish this. Oh, then there's you. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Well, thank you for inserting $3 into the computer in order to listen to this program. What? You didn't pay for this? Oh, boy. Wait a minute. Something went wrong. I thought the show was only on Disney Plus. Disney Plus a lot of money. I think that's what that means. But there's Disney Plus, Discovery Plus, Paramount Plus. What's all this Plus shit? How about the Ron Van Dam Show Plus? You know, why can't I do that? If I were going to subscribe to all the Plus channels that are available, I'd be broke. Honey, we can't feed the family. I'm sorry, but I spent all my money on all the pluses. Gas prices in New York and California are over $5 a gallon now. That's a lot of money. That's almost expensive as printer's ink. Printer's ink, give me a break. Why is that stuff so expensive? A tiny little drop of ink in a little plastic cartridge? It's like $70. What, are you kidding me? I'm in the wrong business. For a lot of reasons. Jason Shaw does the music for this program. Thank you, Jason. The opening theme, the incidental music. Incidentally, he does that. John Shanahan is also one of the people behind this program. Look, he's there. He's right behind it. He's behind the program over there. He writes much of the comedy segments in the program, the comedy commercials, the opening announcements. That's all John. And then there's Nicole Reed. She's the British voice. She does a lot of voiceovers for us, and she also books many of the national guests that I have on this program because I'm totally incompetent as far as doing that myself. I apparently don't know how to book a national guest as well as she does. She has connections. She knows Bob. I don't know who that is, and that's why I don't do it. I have a very interesting guest coming up later in the program. He wrote a book called The Black President. It's all about Obama, things you didn't know, and the phenomenon that it caused. It's quite an interesting book, and we'll talk to him a little bit later on in the program. But right now, it's just you and me. So would you like to go dancing? No? Okay, not a problem, because I don't dance. I am 6'3" tall. Tall people do not dance. Tall people should not dance. Especially men. Men should not be dancing if you're over 6 feet tall because you're like a beacon of schmuckdom on the dance floor. It's true. Everybody can see how bad you can dance if you're really tall. And also short, fat people, they should not be dancing either. And those are the rules. That's basically it. It's in the Bible, page 27. Isn't it interesting that the Bible is a book and the Torah is a scroll? I think the Bible's a lot easier to fit into the hotel room drawer. I mean, if the Torah was as popular as the Bible in hotel rooms, where would you put the damn thing? Leaning in the corner? I mean, where would you put this Torah thing? Really, seriously. I stay in a lot of hotel rooms. No, not for that reason. Oh my God, where's your mind going? I stay in a lot of hotel rooms when I travel, which isn't all that much anymore. And there are no more Bibles in the hotel rooms. There used to be a Bible everywhere. So there used to be one in the little drawer there next to the bed. There was one in the bathroom next to the toilet. They were all over the place, all these Bibles. Now, no. Now it's just the channel guide for the TV. That's the only thing we see in the room, and local restaurants. Yeah, what happened to that Bible thing, huh? Well, it was not working out, I guess, huh? It was not working out. All right. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here and sitting down and shutting up and letting me talk for a while. I appreciate that. I really do. Yesterday, I went to the supermarket. I go to the supermarket every other day because the supermarket to me is like Disney World. But instead of rides, there's food. Can you imagine walking into a building and they have every kind of food from every kind of country and every variety of it and every brand of it? And it's all under one roof, and they give you a shopping cart, and you put all the stuff in there, and then you pay for it, and you leave, and you go home, you eat it. I mean, seriously, what could be greater than that? So I love supermarkets. I really do. I'm surrounded by food. That's what else are we talking about here? I go to a supermarket that's really quite crowded usually because the prices are very reasonable, and reasonably priced food is probably close to utopia. But for some reason, I attract problems. So I'm standing in line. My cart has these wonderful foods in them, and I can't wait to get home and just bathe myself in chocolate sauce. Sounds actually very sexually kinky. Not a bad idea for a Wednesday, huh? Too bad this is Thursday. So I'm online. There's two people in front of me, and then there's one person in front of me, and they're being checked out. And for some reason, the item that they have, there's a banana or something, or a kumquat or something, it didn't ring up properly. And when the customer went to pay for it, there's something wrong with the pay. So here's what I don't understand. We are in a world of incredible technology. We are in a world of incredible technology. I'll say it again. We are in a room of strange. We are in a world of incredible technology. Couldn't say that. Couldn't say it enough. And when the cashier has a problem, instead of some type of communicate, I can communicate with somebody by text or by with a signal across the planet, on the other side of the planet. But somehow in a supermarket, when there's a problem with a customer or an item at the checkout register, all they have is a little toggle switch that they flip, and then the light that shows that that the aisle is open, that flashes. And then you got to wait for some supervisor to happen to look in that direction to see the flashing light. That's not technology. We have technology for everything else. Everything else. Everything else. But for some reason, in every supermarket, there is no way There is no way to do this. It's an emergency. Quick, hit the toggle switch and flash that light and hope somebody sees you. Over here. The line's being held up at the checkout register. Over here. Please. What is this, like a lighthouse or something? What is ship to shore? What the hell? What kind of technology is this? And in my indubitable way, which is a word that I can almost say but certainly cannot spell, and don't show off, you don't know how to spell it either. I know you don't. All right, spell indubitably. Go on. Time's up. You can't do it. Half of you don't even know what it means. The other half do, but still can't spell it. So I say to the cashier, and then it gets, 5 hours later, the supervisor comes over and hits a little thing on the register and everything's fine. You're waiting 5 hours for a supervisor to come by. And then what they do is they flip the toggle switch and it stops flashing. I mean, come on. What is this, 1927? What the hell are we doing? So it's my turn, and I get up to the register, and the cashier, I think they're trained to say, hello, how are you? I think that's basically the training when you're a cashier. If someone comes up to you, checking out, say, hello, how are you? Just do it. I know you don't care. Just do it. So she says, hello, how are you? And I say, okay, fine. That was crazy, huh? She says, what? I said, well, you have to hit a toggle switch and the light flashes. It's crazy, isn't it? And she responded to me, and she said, yeah. Whoa, we have such a relationship now. She responded by saying, yeah. Wow. Are we on the same page or what? There's a bagger there. There's a bagger. She was putting the food that was already went through the little scanning belt. She was putting the food in a paper bag. I always ask for paper because I'm very, very conscious of the environment. No more plastic. Just chop down trees and make paper bags. So she's putting the stuff in the bag. She's a bagger, and I thought that's an awful job title. What do you do for a living? Well, part-time, I'm a bagger. Honey, look in the mirror. You're a double bagger. Yeah, that's not good. Can't you come up with something like a food positioning engineer? I position the food in the paper bag properly so that when you get home, the freezer items are in this bag, the refrigerator items are in the pantry items are in... let me tell you something. You are an incredible bagger. You're not just a normal bagger. You're incredible. Where did you learn to bag? And someday she's going to go on to be a professional competition bagger. I know this for a fact. I can feel it in my bone. She is an incredible bagger. I know. Could I be a bagger? I don't know. I don't want to be. Anyway, my guest is coming up shortly. Not that he's short necessarily. I don't know. He wasn't here. I haven't talked to him yet, but I will. I'm not going to ask him if he's if he's short or not. Now, that's an expression. He'll be here shortly. Doesn't mean that he's short. It's mean within a short period of time he'll be here. I was watching television, as I tend to do on a frequent basis. They were interviewing George Clooney. George Clooney is just loved by everybody. He's one of those people that are just loved by it. It's like Tom Hanks. Everybody loves him. I'm not too thrilled with him. I think he's a lousy actor, but he seems like a nice guy. Not that I know him or have had a conversation with him. He could be mean and rotten. I really don't know. George Clooney seems to be a really nice guy, and he's sitting there with his wife. She's beautiful in a very odd way, but she's very beautiful. and they're sitting there together. They're always together. You know, they probably even have sex together. And the interviewer says to George Clooney, you know, you're very, very popular politically. You seem to be right down the middle. And you just, have you ever considered becoming president? And George Clooney sits back and chuckles just a bit. Chuckles. I said the word chuckles. He laughs just a bit and he says, no, I want to have a life. George Clooney. And that's when it hit me. The only people that want to be president are the ones that shouldn't be. Right? Am I right? Am I right? If you're smart enough to know that being president would ruin your life, and you're not going to ruin your life for this country, not for this one, that's a smart person. Yeah, I have a family. I don't want to ruin my life. No, I don't want to be president. I want to enjoy my life. Yeah, you're smart. I wish you would be president because you said something smart. It's the other ones. Yes, I will sacrifice my life for my country. No. You will sacrifice your life for power. That's what it is. Power. The power. The people that are head of things are people of power. It goes to your head just like money. Money and power go together. There are some presidents that doesn't necessarily happen with. They tend to be more democratic. But that's just the way it seems to pan out. In any event, there was a president that was a first, and I thought he was pretty cool. And we're going to talk to the author of this new book, and we're going to do that after this short commercial message, because quite obviously you're not going to pay for this. Somebody has to pay for this, so it's not going to be you, apparently.
First, they put jalapenos on your hamburger, but that wasn't hot enough. Then came habaneros, but still, that wasn't hot enough. Next came the ghost pepper, and still, that was not hot enough for you. Well, buckle up, tough guy, because Burger Guy thinks you're not man enough to handle the heat of our new, sweet, flaming mother of heaven. What the f*** did you assholes do to my hamburger burger? Featuring two of Burger Guy's signature paper-thin patties topped with an experimental hot sauce made from a concentrated hot pepper extract that has only been approved for military use by North Korea. This burger will burn a hole through every inch of your intestines and then slap your mama on its way out for good measure. This burger is so hot they wouldn't let us test it on prisoners. Death row prisoners. But for a limited time, you can try your luck at your local Burger Guy. If you're not a complete pussy.
All purchases of the sweet flaming mother of heaven, what the f*** did you assholes do to my hamburger burger, must be pre-approved by a certified attorney at law with proper notification of next of kin. Sweet flaming mother of heaven, what the f*** did you assholes do to my hamburger burger must not be consumed within 500 yards of schools or within 1,000 yards of open flame. All Burger Guy franchisees reserve the right to ignore cries for mercy or requests for immediate medical attention.
Hello, Ron. How are you?
I'm great. Claude A. Clegg joins us now. He's an author of an incredible book called The Black President, Hope and Fury in the Age of Obama. And first of all, thanks for writing this book. This is nicely done.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Very, very nice. You know, it's funny that it wasn't that long ago, yet it feels like the good old days. I don't understand. It's time is passing very strangely these days, I believe. What prompted you to get into this subject matter?
Yes, well, it was more or less watching the back and forth drama of the 2000 Democratic primaries between Senators Obama and Hillary Clinton, and I just was mesmerized by the primaries and how close the two were competing, and more or less closely matched they were, and that both outcomes, whether he won the nomination, which he ultimately did, or whether Senator Clinton won the nomination, would have been historic. So the 2008 primaries, I knew I was looking at something, the country, the world was looking at something historic. So as early as then, I wanted to write about that occasion.
You know, I look at this prior time period, beginning with the Obama era. I look at the Obama era as being jubilation in the streets, unity. I know not everybody felt that way, but that seemed to be the overriding feeling. And then when the Trump years came along, it was the opposite. It was depression, doom. It was like to me, it was two presidential extremes. Do I have that accurate?
I think that the country is both things. I think that the Obama presidency showed us a particular kind of America that was diversifying, an America that was open to a certain kind of change, a hopeful America that wanted to be better than it had previously been, especially on matters of race. And I think in terms of the Trump presidency, it just revealed that there still existed an America that was fearful of change. It was fearful of diversity. Even the notion of a black first family, it was so out of tradition. It was so out of line with the 43 previous first families in the White House that people were, they were concerned about their place in the future, their place in this diversifying America. And Trump, his sort of method, which was powerfully effective, was to turn that concern about change, about what America was becoming demographically, into fear, and then into animosity, and to more or less commercialize that for political capital.
Yeah, it was one hell of a commercial that he put forth, based on falsities, and that's where we stand even today. You know what I'm most impressed about the Obama years was that Barack Obama actually he grew with the position, and usually that doesn't happen. He changed his position on various things as he grew within the confines of his leadership, and I found that to be quite impressive.
He was a very pragmatic man, which was to the consternation of some of his more progressive allies and supporters. But he was not one that was averse to deal making, to moving to the center. And I think that he really had to do that in order to put together a governing coalition that would get him elected and then reelected. I think that the country was a sort of middle centrist country, and actually had been, prior to his time, a sort of center-right country under the Bush years. Again, of course, George W. Bush was a two-term presidency, although you can certainly quibble about the 2000 election. But Obama was coming into America that was, I think, wanting to have change in the White House, but not revolutionary change, and that he understood that moving the country sort of incrementally toward the center, maybe just left of the center, was about as far as you could move it. So he understood that, and he was, like you're saying, Ron, he was willing to adjust. If you can think about the Affordable Care Act, it was very ambitious in regard to going for a public option. Again, the consternation of his more liberal allies, he was willing to take half a loaf and to take that out. So I think that willingness to be pragmatic, that willingness to read the realities and to go for the possible made his 8 years in the White House as opposed to just 4 years possible.
We tend to forget that in the circumstances of both Obama and Biden, but especially Obama, not only were they taking on a incredible job and task and leadership, but they started in the pits. I mean, we were coming out of an economic holocaust when Obama took office. So it wasn't just that he had to step in and be president. He had to fix some gigantic, critical problems that we had, and the same with Biden, of course. But this is really, to me, the mark of incredible performance.
You're right. It seems, like a century ago when we were in the Great Recession of 2008, 2009, and it sort of lingered too. So, if you're coming into that office in January of 2009, as Obama did, you're losing hundreds of thousands of jobs a month. The automobile industry is in free fall and collapse. The the mortgage loan system is locked up. We're in 2 wars, foreign wars. So, it's the job that you must really, really want to do in order to, even attempt something like that. So, and Biden has a similar situation insofar as he comes in the midst of this global pandemic. We have Great Depression level unemployment when the pandemic strikes in 2020. And then all the things that come with the pandemic. We have the social justice protests and so forth. So they come in at very fraught times.
Yeah. What was it in your research that frustrated Obama more than anything during his time there?
I think that he, and I think that many of the rest of us observing and living through that time, were not prepared for the kind of partisan resistance that he got to nearly everything he tried to do. Whether it was a jobs bill, whether it was on infrastructure, which we've been talking about for an awful long time, whether it was on climate change, whether it was on the healthcare bill, criminal justice reform, even, nominating justices to the Supreme Court. You have the unprecedented, situation in which the Republican heading the Senate, Mitch McConnell, will not allow a president to nominate a Supreme Court justice nominee and that person get a hearing, just sort of sat on it for almost a year. So I don't think that Obama anticipated, and I think many of us who were watching and experiencing those years did not anticipate the kind of obstruction that he would face on everything, even whether or not the country should pay its bills and raise the debt ceiling. As we are seeing now, back then you had obstruction by the GOP in regard to something that's a really basic function of government, paying its bills, and whether or not that should be done. And again, making that a political weapon against Obama. So the level of just outright partisan resistance and obstruction to the point of bending institutions to a breaking point, I think that was the thing that probably frustrated him most.
Yes, I would agree. I mean, politically, going all the way back to Clinton and then some, I mean, each party was out to destroy the other using tactics that were both legal and stupid. And of course, during the Bush presidency, the most recent Bush, he was made out to be a total moron and idiot, and was the butt of every joke. It does seem to be a legacy of this country to make sure that common sense does not prevail.
It's the hardest job in the world, the presidency.
Yes.
And those around you are not going to make it any different. It's a hard job to get, as it should be, but it's an incredibly hard job. You could argue that the job has become a bit dysfunctional in regard to being able to get things done.
It has.
But yes, incredibly hard job.
Yeah. It is ridiculous. Okay. He is still, though, one of the most revered public figures of our time, no matter what side of the aisle you may sit on. His wife played an incredible role in his presidency as well. They were a very solid family image, and I think people look back at that as solace in a sense.
I think that's right. I think that the Obamas brought to the White House a certain seriousness, competence. Again, there were no major scandals during their time in the White House. And I think the country really appreciated that. Being the first anything is tough, and certainly being the first black anything is even tougher, especially when the spotlight is a global spotlight that lasts for 8 years.
Yes.
So they had to endure that, and I think they did so with a certain amount of grace. I think they did so in some incredibly tough times, whether it's the Tea Party rebellion, or whether it was the rise of Donald Trump, whether it's the debt ceiling crisis, and then the sort of everyday threats against the Obamas. He was the most threatened president since Abraham Lincoln, who of course was actually assassinated.
I didn't know that.
So it was from every quarter. It was the internet where most of the threats were in social media. But yeah, he was the most threatened, and thus his family under threat during those 8 years. And they wore it very well. One of the things I learned when I was researching the book is the sort of threat environment that they were in. And the Secret Service had its share of stumbles in regard to protecting the first family. There was at least one instance in which someone actually breached the White House with a knife looking for the Obamas. I think they wore it very well, and I think that many Americans, after they left the White House, missed that.
Yeah, that's for sure. Boy, you mentioned social media and the Internet. That was a turning point for civility in that category. There's no question about it. Sad, but true. Your book's incredible, I must say. I read the book. It was the kind of book I started reading it, and I just canceled other things to continue reading the book.
Thank you.
It is fascinating, and it's extremely well done. And I do suggest it. Certainly, with the holidays coming up, it's a nice piece of literature to have hanging around. Where is it available? I assume everywhere.
Yes, everywhere books are sold. You can get it directly from the publisher, Johns Hopkins University Press. Their website is press.jhu.edu. Of course, Amazon.com, or again, anywhere books are sold.
And Claude, how can people follow you in this day and age of following people?
Yes, I joined Twitter about a year ago, so my followers are still very limited in number, but I'm on there pretty regularly. So at Claude Clegg on Twitter.
Excellent. Hey, pleasure speaking to you, and the best to you and continued success.
Thank you, Ron. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm out of time for today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to my guest. I'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new show. But until that time occurs, well, I wish you peace.